Help support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps you protected when shopping online. Get $5 to try it now by using promo code QZZ2J.
I welcome our next guest, Igor Tuttleman, CEO and founder of ResiTire. Tell us a little bit about this.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on here. So I'll give you the shorthand. So at ResiTire, what we're doing is we're developing airless tires that eliminate flats without sacrificing performance. So I had the opportunity to participate in a program with FedTech and NASA a few months ago, where I was shown a lot of different technologies that NASA has been working on. And through this exposure, I identified that their super elastic tire technology is just fascinating. It's like taking, if I've got one here. So it's like taking this really special alloy that's, elastic like rubber and strong like titanium, and making an exoskeleton of it for tires, right? And what that does is it gives it these unique properties where it can withstand all different types of terrain, all different types of climates, and it does that while being an airless tire. So this is fascinating technology. I spent several months doing research on it. Eventually, we got a license from NASA, and we're developing our own intellectual property as well. And we've just been, pushing forward because I think that this has an incredible amount of potential for, changing the way that we view tires, changing the way that we view vehicles altogether.
Yeah, well, especially whenever you're talking, and if you could hold that up one more time for the audience to see, because if you start looking at especially the way that the coils are put together, you really start looking at almost a geodesic, almost Buckminster Fuller type structure.
Exactly.
In the way that they flex, compress, expand freely, things like that. And it's really cool. Now, let's dispel a little myth here, because back in the early days of tires, folks, if you ever see all the old movies where they walk up to the car and they're like, let's see if this thing's worth its salt, and they kick it. That's to see if it had radial tires or pneumatic tires. Like they had solid rubber tires at one point. And they found out that they were just horrible for vehicles. They like you felt everything in the road. They use them still for like extreme earth moving, that kind of stuff, because there's no way you're going to avoid a blowout typically, carrying the extra weight on top of the vehicle when you're moving 18 trees of lumber as well. But this technology seems really interesting to put inside. Now, is there like a rubber housing that goes around that? And that is the exoskeleton, or I guess endoskeleton at this point, that would live inside the rubber housing, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to look exactly like a traditional tire. And the way traditional tires are made nowadays is that they have steel plies running through it so that it holds all the rubber together and keeps the air pressure in. So this builds a more rigid system that can still accept this type of compression that comes along with, riding over a pothole or going off road.
Well, and some people may have experienced the odd wear and tear, especially that happens if you don't keep up with the alignment on your vehicle, where the tire or the balance on your tires, where they start doing this, then you get a little blister, and that blister actually causes it to unzip along the radial belt line, because pressure builds up along the radius of the radials, and it causes it to peel up, just like a peel off of an orange is what it looks like. And that destroys the side of your vehicle. I had it happen to a car that I had at one point. And when you're talking about that, that's quite literally because of air pressure inside of it, the way that reacts to the temperature of the road and the speed that you're operating and everything else. These though are a little, and a lot of people might say like, oh, president's got run flat tires on his vehicle. Explain to us the difference between that style of a run flat tire and what you have here.
Yeah, so the statistics behind run flats are pretty shocking. A lot of higher end vehicles come with run flats, but the proportion of people that actually replace them with another run flat is very low.
Yeah.
And that's because one of the biggest problems with run flats is their cost. Apart from the cost, it is realistically a thicker tread. It can withstand a pop per se. It'll take you from point A to point B if it's in its worst condition. But I mean, decreased performance, to save you maybe once or twice and come at such a high cost point, that's just difficult to justify. So what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, is by having this endoskeleton, as you said, this makes it so that the tire will react to the road. It's not going to be, even if it gets punctured, there's nothing to let out. And so it's more of like a reactive tire, as opposed to one that's very, part of the analogy, but it's square, right? It's supposed to just move around, and that's about it. It's not supposed to work with the environment.
No, absolutely not. It is and it's basically just that. It's, I mean, imagine having like a piece of basically like railroad tie wrapped in a circle inside of your tire. That's what's there. So it's a lot of extra weight for your vehicle to move. It's going to cause more wear and tear on your drivetrain in order to have it. It's not going to be a comfortable, smooth ride all the time. Like you hit a pothole, oh, you're going to feel that pothole. With every inch of that heavy run flat, you're going to feel that pothole. Whereas this, if you could hold it up again, you can see where with that intercoiled spring design, it would actively flex the way that a tire full of air would. So yeah, really, really phenomenal. What are you still in the development phase right now? Is this something that you're trying to standardize into the world of existing tires, where basically this would be an add-on to your vehicle? That any BF Goodrich or Firestone, or a little shout out to Pop's old company, Cooper Tire, any of those that you would find at your standard auto dealer, or not auto dealer, but auto shop, that it would just fit inside of a standard, whatever your tire size is, 185, 1023, or what have you.
That's definitely the goal down the road. One of the issues is that the industry has a lot of red tape in it. And
does.
So for us to get into, for example, a really good market to get a airless high performing tire into is trucking. A single truck driver loses, I think it's around $28,000 a year in productivity due to flat tires.
Yep.
And so for us to get into trucking, realistically, it's a 7 to 8 year timeline. Just because there's so much red tape and there's so much certification and compliance that needs to happen there. So what we're doing in the meantime is we're focusing on, smaller niche markets where we still think that we're going to be able to really improve and change the status quo. So for example, mountain biking. Mountain biking is an industry where, every single part of your bike to this point has been upgraded, where it's lightweight, it's virtually indestructible, it's safe. But you can still get a flat tire at the end of the day. So that's one of our first targets. It's developing a mountain bike tire that won't go flat and won't give you all the headaches of goo tires or foam tires that don't feel like you're on a bike.
In addition to that, just to kind of go along kind of the same kind of market, if you started looking into like home tractor market, things like that, like riding lawnmowers, that kind of stuff, where if you go out and get a flat tire on a riding lawnmower, you still got to change it. You still got to change a tire. It still holds air. It's got a tube, things like that, where you have a very what would be a much easier barrier of entry to the market, like you're saying, where, yeah, when it comes to the trucking infrastructure in this country or any country, because of the fact that it is such a vital part of the infrastructure, there is a lot of safety protocol. Like you may as well be trying to make a medical device, like quite literally with the safety protocols that you have to go through to get something into the trucking or automotive industry in America. And I mean, prime example, look at what happened to Toyota sales whenever like foot mats started slipping around. I bought my Toyota. It didn't even come with foot mats. That's how far it went. So, so that's the kind of safety protocols that you're looking at. Like if they get rid of floor mats, imagine what they would do if something went wrong. But what kind of release timeline are you looking at right now?
Yeah, so we're working on our mountain bike release, which we're planning for somewhere around the third quarter of 2021.
Great.
So just around August, September. That's our
Awesome.
plan for that. In the meantime, we're seeking federal funding. We're
Great.
you know, doing competitions, applying for stuff, all the startup jazz, and
Nice.
continuing R&D, obviously.
Well, congratulations. Such an amazing forward-looking idea, especially as we get into the world of automated vehicles, things like that. You know, like, hey, how's an automated vehicle going to deal with a blowout?
This is
Like,
enabling
it's hard enough
for
to control your
autonomous.
vehicle with human reflexes when there's a blowout, you know.
Yeah.
So considering things like that, absolutely. I think you have a fantastic future and market ahead of you with this technology. Good luck.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your appearance today, and enjoy the rest of your digital CES.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed that interview, and if you did, make sure you check out some of the more than 100 interviews we conducted during the virtual CES 2021 coverage. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube, hit the notification bell to learn when we post new content and when we go live.